Sissy. That was the word that I couldn't think of that they've said in all these documentaries,
Yeah, you're right.
all these
Do you think it hurts
things.
it?
I think it hurts. I think it's a deep thing with him.
I agree
that
with you.
That word he hates it. He just hates it. But it's what he's based on. And it's just, that word sissy. I don't want to be a sissy anymore.
So then maybe, but this is the interest, that's great.
Yeah.
Is Divine a sissy? Is Glenn a sissy? Is Divine a sissy, right? Is that a good question to ask?
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
So maybe John should ask that question.
Yeah.
You know? Glenn, growing up, you might have been a sissy, but where you went was somewhere else. You know?
Because, Divine's character laid the foundation for a lot of powerful big women characters. And the one role that comes to mind in my head is Disney's Ursula. I mean, that role really is the best role in the show. I mean, Ariel's whatever she is, but Ursula is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
She's very, very powerful, and she's a big woman. And I think it somehow ties back. I think there's a little gay boy working for Disney. You think maybe there's one or two, and they are tying. They somehow in their head they want that big woman to be powerful.
Mm-hmm. So how should, this is for everybody in the room, how should John Waters, should he use any of what you just said as the counter to that, right? Mm-hmm. What do you mean sissy? What do you mean, I don't want to be a sissy, I don't want to be, all right, so what is a sissy? What is a sissy?
Well, the bad things that a sissy are is effeminate.
Okay.
And
but it's not just effeminate, right? It's
more. It's weak.
I don't know how to spell effeminate. Yeah. Thank you, Microsoft Word.
EFF.
EFFEM.
What kind of gay men are you? Spell
IMINATE.
Don't throw things at me.
Okay, you know what it is. That's effeminate. Wow. Jeez, I need some help. But it also is like gender. It's also about gender too. Weak. Right. Yeah. Weak.
Sissies are weak. Sissies get beat up.
Yeah.
A bully can punch a sissy, and the sissy's not going to do anything because the sissy is weak.
And that's so crazy because that's not the word in my head that goes with Divine at all because she's
Divine's not a sissy.
so tough and
No, she's
like
not. And that's answering
amazing
that
monster.
question. Divine is definitely not a sissy. And I think maybe that's the part that Glenn and John wanted Divine to be this monstrous, powerful
Powerhouse.
Yeah.
Totally.
So like the sissy, effeminate, but yeah.
Clown. Yeah.
Huge.
Frightened adults, not children.
Clown, terrorist.
Stop spitting darts at me.
So the notion is that when he, I don't want to be a sissy anymore, then we need the two of you to address this, that he, that without a doubt, Divine is not a sissy, right? But there's something in Glenn, there's a little kid in Glenn that's still, that little boy in those pictures with those wet eyes that feels like a sissy.
So,
And you can even say something like that. You can say, you're not that little boy in the yearbook, in the high school yearbook with the wet eyes anymore.
I wrote that went away when Divine was born.
Yeah, something like
Just
that.
to make it.
Absolutely.
Well, where the fuck have you been?
We've been waiting forever.
We've been waiting for you. This is shit.
You know what? You can eat shit for all I care. John G.
Care if Wednesdays are your bad days or not.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Hi, John. We're very happy to have you here.
Welcome.
John, this
So
is
John,
That's Blake.
That's Blake.
Hi, nice to meet you. John.
John's, even though we've been devising, John has been sort of the scribe and the head writer of all the stuff that we've been devising. He's He's the one who pulled together this script from
The
all
only
the
thing
artists.
you missed that matter is the line, "I don't want to be a sissy anymore." So just remember that.
And also, you ripped it up from front to back. I
It's
think
just because
that's
she liked the
important.
dirty stuff.
It's perfect.
Thank
you
you.
ripped it up from front to back. I had
Laura,
a great visual.
Laura, that's right.
Let's see if I have it here.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's the bully, if there's also the bully and the bullying,
So like once a year, I pretty much have to
I think the question
buy.
is,
First one lasted 2 years.
He becomes that.
I can buy the cheaper one.
yeah. So is there someone who is the bully? You know, that needs to be, you know what I mean? That is there someone who is, you know, is Divine's or Glenn's, Ramon's grandmother in this scenario? You know what I mean? Kind of,
Right.
you know, that is in place this judgment, you know,
I think the cop-out answer is it's the world. That's kind of
Yeah.
the cop-out answer. But if that's what it is, I really truly believe it's in Glenn's mind.
Yeah,
And I'm keeping in mind, we've created this world that Glenn Milstead hated Divine and didn't want to do Divine anymore and didn't want to be in drag anymore. We know that he wanted to be a good actor, and we know that he wanted to be a better actor, but did the sissy part of him did the sissy part of him really tear him apart, or did he just kind of deal with it?
We don't know.
You know, we talked, yeah, we did, but, you know, so the thing too that we can think about, you know, we talked about pink face as blackface, right? And I remember, it wasn't Paul Robeson, but Paul Robeson played this character, I can't remember his name, but he was one of the first really great black minstrel actors. And he talked about how everybody loved him, and he'd be on stage and he would do this act, and everybody just thought it was absolutely, utterly fantastic. He was world renowned, right? But as soon as he came off stage, people actually, they wanted him with the blackface to go into the bar and have a drink, and they wanted him to go to the after party in blackface, a black man in blackface. And he said, no, I need to take this off. And because of the materials and everything, it took at least 30 minutes to remove it all. And he said that every time, by the time he got to the after party, anyone who was there didn't recognize him, didn't care who he was just another N-word who thought he could walk in the room. You know what I mean? So maybe that's the thing, you know what I mean? If we're talking about, yeah, they love watching the film. They love bringing me on to the talk show and making fun of me and everything like that. But John, you know, behind closed doors, they still think that we're just a bunch of sissies. You know?
Art house sissies.
Art house sissies, right? I guess that's the thing. I mean, right now, right? Art house sissies. They just think we're a bunch of art house sissies. I don't know. I just put that out there. I don't know if that's useful at all. But if we're talking about this notion of not even whether it's personal shame, it's not about personal shame at what one is, but it is like it is about this notion of them out there. You know, the whole world, as you put it, right? The whole world loves you for an hour. Are you willing to trade being a goddess for an hour if it means that you are just a fucking faggot for the other 23?
So just to piggyback what you were saying, are we not inventing, but putting on Glenn that he was super self-loathing or not?
I think
every story playing is self-loathing. I think I'm playing in my head. I'm not playing self-loathing. I'm playing the fact that I hate that part of myself, not my whole self. I hate because I think I'm a very talented actor.
Yeah.
So in my head, the thing that I don't like is that the only thing I ever play is women. So for me, it's not that I hate myself. I hate that part of myself.
It's like
It makes my female characters so wonderful.
I just think there's a huge distinction there, and some of this is sort of sliding into that.
Talk to me about that. Say that.
Well, the pink face thing and all that, I mean, it's very easy to slip over into like, oh, I'm such a sissy and I just hate myself and I want to go be masculine and have leading man roles.
Sure.
I'm making this very simple.
Yeah.
When the argument is, I'm not getting the kind of roles I want,
Right.
and because of the kind of actor I am and who I humanly am made up of and how the world sees gays, or at least how when I grew up,
And I think
feel like my
script-
options are limited.
I think the script right now stays that way. I think it leans more toward, I'm more concerned about being a leading actor than I am anything else. I mean, I think it's evident, I say it several times,
Mhm.
that I want to be a leading man, I want to be a leading actor.
So-
that's what I want.
So I'm just bringing this up to do this.
Yeah.
I think back to this little moment that we're trying to figure out here. I think if I'm like, you were great as Divine, and you were this amazing character actor, and we love your work. And you're like, that's great, but I need to do more. Oh no, you're great as Divine. I need to do more. And I think the argument, back to My Dinner with Andre, is an artistic one, and I think that seems to make more sense to me than whether.
Then a crisis of person of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's more playable.
Yeah.
Because it's about what we've been. I think all the other stuff is there,
Yeah.
and I think because we are both gay, and this is a gayish thing. This ship.
But this ship?
This ship.
This ship? Oh, okay.
Ship.
This ship.
But I think what you were saying, like, I think there is this repetitive, like, John doesn't fucking get it. I'm like, no, here, Divine Wig, Dad Cordelia, this is all awesome. No, Willie Loman, da-da-da. I think it's just this ping pong match until he finally just throws it down. You can't fucking hear me. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing that's also frustrating for
That kind
him
of
is that with this conversation with you, is there's a very particular part of Glenn that's been accepted and praised by the world, and it's a small part of him, and there's so much more to him that the world doesn't see. But John is one of his closest friends, should see all of that, but now John's looking at you just like everyone else looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a self-loathing. It's just like, I'm more than just this one thing. And why don't you see, you know that I'm more than just this one thing. Why are you just seeing me as this one thing now?
Right.
And that's, I would think, a huge point of frustration too.
So maybe the line, I'm tired of being a sissy, or I don't want to be a sissy anymore, should be changed to, I'm tired of being a drag queen.
Maybe.
Because that separates us out.
No.
That separates it out so that I'm not feminine anymore. If I'm not going to be a drag queen, then all I can play is.
So what's the difference between these two statements? I'm tired of being a drag queen. I'm tired of being just a drag queen.
The big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
So maybe the second one.
Maybe the second one is better, has more weight. I'm
Yeah.
tired of being just a drag queen.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a definite acceptance on Glenn's part, and I think even in the scripts that we've developed, that Glenn still embraces the divine.
Yeah, and
He's just tired of it. He still acknowledges all the fame and fortune it brought him, but because I'm very big in Japan.
It's like the one hit wonder, right? It's
That's all I
like,
can do.
yeah, stop telling, what's the flock of seagulls or whatever, you know what I mean? From the 80s, and they, you have all these bands, right? And they go and they do all these concerts and they try to bring out the new stuff. And the people in the front row say, fuck you, play the hits. We only want to hear the hits.
Mr.
Yeah. And so,
Der Kommissar. How about that one?
Der Kommissar,
Mm-hmm.
Rock Me Amadeus.
So,
There's another one.
just on a meta level, I'm just thinking this is actually a really great moment for John to be, to bring the letter back in, because this is, I keep dragging the rest of the play, but we named it, and I like it. So I think if he's like blah, 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 and this, and this, and this, I'm like, listen, I answered the letter because it intrigued me. I came here because whether you're really was you or not, I was excited to have dinner with Divine. I can say the title of the play here.
Do you do jazz hands when you do it too?
But I think it is such a great, we haven't said it, we haven't used it, and we're so close to the thing going this way. I think if John's point is, look, I came to have dinner with Divine. I was hoping Divine would be here, and she did show up. and you're showing me,
And then I do a take.
and you're showing me this person.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm so happy to have you back, I think it is this heartfelt moment. I can't believe we're sitting here together anymore. It's like a dream.
Right.
But I want Divine as she was, so we can move forward from where we left off. And I think there has to be a rational summation of the play in John to Divine, so that she can go, listen, I fucking told you all this. You see when like the letter, there's so much evidence that's happened in the last 40 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think that one thing that Divine, and we haven't necessarily even addressed it either, but I think John did in real life, this is the actual story, and that is that Edna Turnblatt in Hairspray was not like Divine. Edna Turnblatt was a loving mother.
Yeah,
She was
totally
she was a sweet woman who didn't take her diet pills. She didn't take her diet pills. She was a bitch. But that for that time period, that's what happened, you know. And so, but she was a loving mother. She was a very sweet woman and with a loving husband. And it's a very sweet story.
That's a good point.
You know, so it's like, so John was at least open to letting Glenn explore that side of him that made him, you know, well, and then of course he cast him also as the TV station owner who was the bigot, who I love.
I love that role.
I do too, that role's wonderful.
So what do you think of that? That's actually a really good point. That Hairspray was a non-divine-ish character, although there's an awful lot of divine in her, but.
Sure.
Maybe you could even mention that
Maybe.
as a saving, you know, it's like,
No, that's a good point.
Edna,
Look what you did.
Well,
Edna was wonderful, a loving mother.
yeah, you know, yeah, maybe. No, I get these sinus headaches.
Sorry.
When everything blooms like this. It's possible. My thought is, show me what that would be like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go for it. Okay. Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen.
Rather than any.